Ubisoft is closing another game or studio.
Ubisoft employees right now?
We got another Ubisoft. Guys, it's a day that ends in Y, which means that Ubisoft is closing another game or studio because of bad performance. X-Defiant is officially shutting down. Servers are going offline in June. 6 months left. Oh my god. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. I'm unfortunately here having to announce that X-Defiant will be shutting down. Starting today, December 3rd, new downloads and player registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd. For those who purchase the Ultimate Founders Pack, ooh, those are people that spend a lot of money on the game. Ooh, what are they getting? A full refund. Oh, wow. If you signed up to eat a whole dick, you're getting the entire dick back. All three of them. Yeah, all three of the people that bought this. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will be refunded. Those refunds should happen automatically within 8 weeks of today. And you should get more details here. A few years ago, Ubisoft and the San Francisco dev team embarked on a bold venture to develop a new arcade shooter called X-Defiant. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only were we trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking, but by bringing a more old-school arcade shooter experience. By the way, do you know who the people that don't like skill-based matchmaking are? There's two groups of people. Number one are the streamers who want to farm nubs for stream content, and number two are people who overestimate their skill. Skill-based matchmaking, the reason why it exists is because it increases player participation, and people like skill-based matchmaking. Also, we've always had skill-based matchmaking. Like, am I the only person, like, whenever I would play Halo, I'm playing ranked. Playing ranked is skill-based matchmaking. Like, I'm sorry, like, when I queue in and I'm level 45, I'm queuing against other people that are 45. Yeah, I mean, let's be real. I think at this point that ranked should have skill-based matchmaking, unranked shouldn't. Maybe, but I feel like if unranked didn't, people would just be having bad times. But I do think that that definitely is, like, if there is a middle ground, that is the middle ground. And for that, I want to applaud the dev team and also Ubisoft leadership for taking that channel. Free-to-play in particular is a long journey. Many free-to-play games take a long time to become profitable. It's a long journey that, unfortunately, the journey became too much to sensibly continue. I'm, of course, heartbroken to have written this post. This game's been a personal passion for me for years, and not all challenges lead to victory. And, okay, so all this happens, and what is achieved is truly remarkable. The earlier response from players launched when X-Defiant launched was amazing. Well, the reason why you had a lot of people play the game, number one, no, actually not number one, but one of the big reasons is you paid all the streamers to play it, right? Like, is it on Steam? Wait, it's not even on Steam? Why didn't these retards release the game on Steam? Were they stupid? I don't want to use their shitty launcher. Why the fuck would I don't want to download their launcher. Fuck that. That's stupid. Yeah, I like, what do we do? What? Why? That's so dumb. The game's free to play and still no Steam. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna, like, what the fuck? So I have to download a new program, make a new account just to play this other game? Like, why would I do that? And we had 5 million users. At the end, we had 15 million players in our game. That's something to be extremely proud of, especially considering how tough of a genre it is. If there's one thing I hope we can all take away from the experience, it's the importance of open, honest communication between developers and players first. The player-first mentality, along with respectful, non-toxic conversations, has been a standout difference that made X-Defiant so special. To our players, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to express my deepest gratitude. Okay, so let's read some of the comments. We won't be shutting down until after Season 4, guys. LOL. There must have been a tough post to write. RIP. Wait, what? Thanks for a great few months. COD killer. I have to laugh. You guys did this to yourselves. What an absolute failure of a game. Why did this game fail? X-Defiant was a great game. No, it wasn't. If it was a great game, it wouldn't be shutting down. You fucking stupid. What? That's not how it works. And mods? Yeah, I don't know anything about this at all. I have no idea mechanics and desync. Man. It's sad, bro. Devastated. Hate to see a game with so much promise not have the time to reach its potential. It's more complicated than that eventually. When skill-based matchmaking is literally called skill-based matchmaking, it has some bad features where it purposefully unbalances teams to artificially create balance with scores, which means that you can't rank up without miracles. I don't know. I feel like if you take a good player, they're going to rank up every time. I feel like a lot of that is just coping. Ubisoft. Let's see if I can find this. Ubisoft is laying off. Oh my... Yeah, okay, so here we go. There's also a massive layoff going on with this. Ubisoft San Francisco and Ubisoft Osaka are both closed. Sydney team is ramping down. Up to 177 people to be laid off. Half of the X-Defiant team is moving to other projects. Ubisoft had hoped the game would compete with Call of Duty, but recently was denying shutdown rumors amidst declining player numbers. Let me see. Were they actually declining it? X-Defiant, shut down, deny. Ubisoft responds to X-Defiant shutdown rumors. This was a little bit over a month and a half ago. Acknowledges the current state of the game and addresses the shutdown rumors by saying that there are plans to... by denying that there are plans to pull the plug after Season 4 and offering players some good news. So they said this in October, and now it's just barely what month is it? Is it it's Christmas month, Decemberary, and yeah. Well, I guess they lied. I will not pardon. I guess not. Is anybody surprised? Corporations do this all the time. It's not that it isn't surprising, it's that it's funny. Yeah, it's a very, very different thing here. Rich guys at the top don't give a fuck. Well, speaking of the people that aren't at the top, 177 people, it looks like, are getting they're getting their job deleted. 6 weeks ago, X-Defiant is not shutting down. It is not, guys, it is not shutting down. And this is also from the same guy, Mark Rubin. And it seems like, yeah. Man. Ubisoft went from having a net worth of 12 billion to 1.8 billion. Wow. Well, actually, is that accurate? Oh, in 2021. Okay, it's not enough for inflation to really take place. Man. That is amazing. Ubisoft employees right now? Oh, man. There's more. Yeah, there we go, boys. Just dudes at work? I guess so. Oh, my God. Ubisoft is really going through it. They are, man. And I want to say again, guys, do you remember whenever I said that Ubisoft's stock price and the way that they're doing didn't matter? And everybody called me a delusional hater and I was stupid and I was just fear-mongering? And then Assassin's Creed got delayed. They had to put Star Wars Outlaws on Steam. They said the numbers were bad. Now they're shutting down an entire studio and they're shutting down one of their live service games. That's crazy, huh? Wow. Maybe it's almost like the stock of a company implies the direction that the company's going in. What? Who would have guessed that? X-Defiant versus TFD? I mean, the first I don't know. I think the first Descendant kind of fell off. Didn't it? Oops. I bet it probably has like 10k players. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It massively fell off. You want to know why it fell off? It's because there's no new good content that's world content that gives you interesting gameplay. They need to add like another difficulty, or not difficulty, excuse me, another world tier level that drops like mythic quality items instead of legendary quality items, and make them like very rare, and then have like other ways to upgrade them. Then you can get the real content, because like what they're doing now is garbage. They should have just asked me, and I would have fixed it. The stock is dropping again now. Well, let's take a look at it. Ubisoft. Just okay. By the way, the reason why it went up right here is there was a rumor that Tencent was going to buy Ubisoft and slap him in the fucking gear. Down 52%. Well, like, if you bought Ubisoft stock 6 months ago and you spent $100,000, you now have less than $50,000. Do the max. Max is probably going to be up. Wait, it's actually lower than it was in 2008. Oh my God. Look at EU listing. Well, no, I understand. So this is only a representative sample of 1/5 of the economy size of Ubisoft, of their market cap, because the actual company is on the French stock exchange and the European stock exchange instead. However, this graph mirrors the European stock exchange graph. So yeah, that's why it says 1/5 here. Everyone at Ubisoft should look for another job because they're temporarily employed. Well, if Tencent buys them and takes over and, you know, slaps them in the gear, then maybe things are going to be okay. They shot themselves in the foot with DEI. I think that why... Let's go ahead and let's do a little list here. Notepad. Why is Ubisoft circling the drain? Okay. Number one. And we'll go ahead, we'll just put this on here so you guys can see it. Okay. This is for... Where is it? I have a lot of these, don't I? Yeah, I do. Okay. Number one. Reason number one. Bad games. That's number one. So, number two. Not on Steam. Not on Steam for launch. The reason why I use Steam is because Steam is a better service. My experience as a user is made worse when you make me download your proprietary launcher just to play one individual game that I have to make an account for. I'm not stupid, and most people aren't stupid. We all know that the only reason that you're doing that is so you can give me pop-ups and advertisements so for me to buy more of your games and more of your products. And also so you can sell my data to your partners. I don't want to participate in that. It's annoying to me, and I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. It automatically creates a negative and hostile consumer relationship. That's it. No 30% cut for Steam. I don't care what their cut is. It's irrelevant to me what their cut is. I don't care about their business model. I care about my experience as a user. I don't give a fuck about their business model. It's totally meaningless to me. Failure to meet expectations. So, probably the two biggest examples of this that I could use... I can't spell for shit, by the way. And anyway... Drama after drama? No, that's it. So basically, Star Wars Outlaws, you can't play as an outlaw. And Assassin's Creed Japan, you're not playing as a Japanese male samurai. I'm going to tell you guys a little secret here. Is that in the Sengoku period, where the fucking Yasuke and Naoe are part of, with Oba Nobunaga, I think that's how I say it. Yeah, Oda Nobunaga, 99.9% of all people that were involved with that were men who were Japanese. That's it. Also, with, I guess, Star Wars Outlaws, we can talk about that. Yeah, and that's it. And so if you have some character there that's like, no black, I mean, it might be one or two. I mean, I think that there's a good chance that there could have been a couple of black people there for sure, right? I mean, because people had boats back then. Maybe it happened. But to center the story around that, it's a bit weird. And especially this is the other issue, and it ties into this, social messaging tied into games. This is a huge problem. Why is it that the only people you were able to steal from in Star Wars Outlaws were the police? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you have a bunch of weird liberals making the game, and this is their value system that they're putting into a game about being an outlaw. It's weird. It's out of touch. Yeah, it's ACAB shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Don't forget the second login once you buy the game. Yes, anti-police liberals. Yeah, it's so fucking annoying. Defund the police mentality. I would love... I wish that the people who defund... I wish the people who wanted to say defund the police... Could we have a way that they could just, like, opt out of paying a certain amount of taxes, and then the police just don't respond to their phone calls anymore? If you actually want to defund the police, do it. Do it on a personal level. You don't have to pay these taxes anymore, and you don't have to deal with the police anymore either. We'll see what happens. Yeah. They would, by the way, they would never do that. Not for a second. The microchip? Yeah, it'd be amazing. It sure would. I have a feeling that we actually already have a word for what would happen with that situation. It's called natural selection. And anyway, so social messaging tied into games. This is overdone, exhausting, and annoying. Nobody wants to hear about any social issue or any sort of like weird gender politics when they're playing Assassin's Creed. People don't play Assassin's Creed to hear about this shit. It's weird. Stop doing it. Here's another one. Overpriced games. One of the only good games that Ubisoft has made recently is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I understand that, again, social messaging, people didn't like the way that the character looked because they thought it was like just the Killmonger haircut and it looked like an African person rather than a Persian. Very fair. It's totally okay if you think that. But I think the real reason why the game didn't do well, and I think that it was a good game, is because it was massively overpriced. With the early access for the game, you had to pay over I think it was $60 or over $60 for a Metroidvania game. That is just simply beyond the market expectation. It's outrageous. Like, if you compare that to Hollow Knight or Blasphemous 2, it's just a totally different universe. People gladly pay that much money for good games. Yeah, but the problem is that Metroidvania is a very small market. Like, there are a lot of games that have a low ceiling. Yeah, for a platformer, yeah, it's a game that has a low ceiling. So you're not going to sell that many copies. And then also, stupid comments. AAA games. This did not help Ubisoft either. Hating their customers? Yes, patronizing customers. I think this happened a lot with Assassin's Creed. So, in-game boosts and time savers. Oh, yeah, really good point. Microtransactions in one-player games. So just to make sure, like in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you can spend money to get extra things in that game. Is that correct? That is indeed correct. Okay, good. So all of these reasons right here, not only Valhalla, yeah, and Origins, yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins. I actually didn't know about that, but I remember hearing about it now that you mention it. But anyway, these are the reasons why Assassin's Creed why Ubisoft is circling the drain. You can in Devil May Cry 4, yeah, but here's the difference: is that Capcom doesn't have all of these other problems. Blizzard releases games on Battle.net and not Steam for launch, but they're still successful. What game doesn't meet expectations, but it was still successful? I think Baldur's Gate 3 in a big way. The market expectation was that turn-based combat was totally out of style. Totally out of style. Baldur's Gate 3? Nope, surprise, wrong. It still is. And so there's definitely that. And social messaging tied into games. Metaphor has social messaging, but it's good social messaging. Mouthwashing had great social messaging. Let me think. Metal Gear Solid, insane social messaging. Really good. I'm trying to think, like, Another Crab's Treasure had amazing messaging. Yeah, I'm thinking of games that I played recently. Final Fantasy 16 had great social messaging. Space Marine 2, not really that much social messaging in Space Marine 2. But either way, overpriced games. Diablo 4. I think Diablo 4 in a lot of ways is successful, and it's overpriced. It is. Yeah. And so you've got that too. There's plenty of games. And so the problem really is stupid comments. There's plenty of developers that make stupid comments. So here's what I'm saying. Is Ubisoft isn't circling the drain because of one of these things. It's circling the drain because of all of these things. At the same time. You've got another reason, the size of the company. Oh, you're right. Company size, what's the word for it? Not implies, necessitates. Anti-player decisions. Yeah, there we go. Jesus, the spelling? My mom would take me to Chuck E. Cheese anytime that I got an A on a spelling test. We never went to Chuck E. Cheese. So anyway, yeah. That's about it. And that's the reason. And to be fair, we did. It just wasn't because of that. But, yeah. Have you gone when you're an adult? I have not been to Chuck E. Cheese since I was like 13 years old. I feel like one of the best, like, one of the reasons to have kids is so you have an excuse to go to Chuck E. Cheese again. I'll be honest. Yeah. Like, that would be probably at least maybe top 3, if not top 5. Yeah, let's be real. So anyway, I have great pizza. Yeah, my mom used to love the pizza there. Anyway, so these are the reasons why Ubisoft is circling the drain and why it's bad. And I think this is just going to keep getting worse. The reason why it's going to keep getting worse is that this is what I think happens. I think that companies start bringing in a bunch of employees that do not actually contribute to the quality of the product that the end user consumes. And these employees instead feed the machine of the company. And in the process of doing that, what ends up happening is that you end up with a bunch of people that are not product people. They're not building the quality of the product. They're not making the user experience better. They're just running the company, and they're running other people that are running the company, right? It's kind of a snowball effect where this happens. And like you saw, Elon Musk had this problem, and then he fired 80% of fucking Twitter, and I think Twitter works just about as fine as it used to. I'm sorry, but there's bots on every social media website. Don't tell me, oh, it has bots on it. There's bots on Facebook too, and Facebook didn't do what Elon Musk did. No, Twitter works just as fine as it did then. Steve Jobs' approach? Exactly. They call it optimization for a reason. Yes. That's not true. There's less moderation. Well, who's to say moderation had any value in the first place? What if moderation was a bad thing? Has it ever occurred to you that maybe certain systems that you've put inside of your company or inside of your system, maybe they don't need to exist to begin with? There you go. And so, yeah, maybe that's the problem. Technically, Twitter is better because freedom of speech. Oh, I agree. I love Twitter. But anyway, by moderation, he meant censorship. That's absolutely correct. And so anyway, that's the big problem that I think a lot of companies have. Remember this?
Gen Z busted a mini. Gen Z busted a mini. Itty bitty cheese and a bomb. Itty bitty cheese and a bomb. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude.
The reason why I think a lot of people are mad about this is because that type of behavior is extremely indicative of a bunch of people that are invited and added into a company environment that probably in a lot of cases add no value and contribute nothing beneficial to the end product, and they just exist to continue to feed the machine of the corporation. That's, I think, one of the reasons why there was a lot of resentment about those people. HR women? Yeah, basically, right? I mean, not necessarily women, but all of that stuff in general. Make it stop? Yeah, there we go. Personality hires and nobody likes the personalities? Yeah, there you go, right? Live service games are going out of fashion. They quickly become too expensive to keep online. This necessitates anti-consumer pay models. Fortnite hit its most recent player peak with 11 million online players at the same time. I don't agree with that. I think it's the fact that the game is bad. I bet if I interviewed right now, I don't really want to do that. This isn't an invitation. But I bet if I interviewed a person that had 500 hours on XDefiant, they could tell you exactly why the game is bad. So yeah, that's basically the reason why Ubisoft is dying. And I think that this, again, is the reason why you have these microtransactions. I think that a lot of the designers and the developers at Ubisoft don't want the microtransactions in the game. I think that if you look at the director, like if you ask the game director at Ubisoft off the record, do you think that the microtransactions made the game better or worse? He's going to say it made it worse. Absolutely. And I bet they might even say it publicly. But the fact is that they have to do it because they need to make the money because of the company size. There it is.